guys.
Hello.
We are in our new recording studio here.
Isn't it lovely?
It's a little bit better than a dark room at night. We do like that, however, it sets the mood for some of our spiritual talks.
Yes.
But for our health talks, we needed to find a better place to do this.
Liven it up a bit, bring in the sun.
That's right. Get the plants around us and everything.
Our lovely begonia.
We do. Those are beautiful. So today, we are talking about labels, specifically food labels.
And how tricky, pesky little marketing tactics are used against you to trick you into thinking their products might be safe, natural, organic.
So this is the problem. We're in a chemical era right now. We're in an era where we are lab producing foods, trying to make it easier so we can feed the world, okay? The mission isn't bad, but the problem is there's a lot of consequences that come with this when we're trying to produce foods in a lab using chemicals that seem to be pretty dangerous to the human health. And right now, some of you may be skeptical. I don't know, I can't speak today. And say, oh, well, some of these ingredients, how do you know that they actually cause cancer? How do you know that they cause depression? How do you know that they're causing diabetes?
Or it's such a small amount, it won't actually hurt you.
This is the problem. Yes, there are maybe some research done on some of the things that we're about to go over today. Maybe it's not a sufficient amount. And maybe just time will tell and we'll just see. But I'd rather steer clear, and I'd rather go towards whole foods. Whole foods that are, I know, that are coming from planet Earth, Mother Earth, that is going to nourish me. That's going to give me the nutrients, the power that I need to thrive and feel good.
Sans chemicals.
Yes.
That's important.
So, alright, where are we going to start this off today? First, we want to talk about how basically this is chemical warfare on a mass level. I'm sorry, but this is no accident. If you're kept sick, it's more profits in the pockets of the pharmaceutical companies and everybody else that's profiting off of our health. And you may want to debate that. You may think I'm some conspiracy
theorist.
But if you look around, it's all around you. You just got to kind of wake up to it.
And we're not the first people to bring this to light. There are a lot of people trying to shine a light on the chemical warfare. And we're not the only ones. We just want to bring this information to some of our followers to help break down this a little bit better for you. So when you're going shopping, you don't feel overwhelmed when you're in the processed food aisles trying to find something that is a little less harmful for you. And really quickly, I'd like to say that sure, while maybe one product, sure, the chemicals in that product might not have any effect on your health directly, but how many of these processed products are you eating throughout the day? How many other chemicals are you exposed to throughout the day? Through your skin, breathing, touching, everything. So that adds up. Your body can only handle so much before it breaks down. And
we're actually exposed to over 700 new chemicals each year, okay? And that's environmental toxins, that's toxins in our food supply, that's toxins in our medicines, in our personal care products, in our, I mean, the list goes on. And this video isn't going to dive into all of that specifically, but just to teach you how to read labels. But before we do that, I'm going to read you a couple ingredients from some of our items that we probably buy every day, that most people buy. Your common box cereal ingredients. And we can't name names, that's why you see some of this stuff covered up.
Yeah, we don't want to name the brand name.
I'm sorry if some of you actually can see it, but we will do our best to kind of disguise those names. But this is a common box cereal ingredients, and I'm not going to read every single ingredient on here, but I am going to point out the ingredients that you should be looking out for. Okay, so we have a common box cereal. This is a lot of our cereals. The first few ingredients are rice, whole grain wheat, sugar, oat clusters, toasted oats, and in those toasted oats, they are rolled oats, sugar, canola oil, with citric acid, molasses, honey, and BHT. Oh, and soy lecithin. The list goes on. Corn syrup, BHT again, artificial vanilla flavor. Oh, and we got another corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. Malt flavoring. Then the list goes on. We have yellow number 5, food dye. We have BHT once again for a 3rd time in this box cereal.
As a preservative.
And for those of you that don't know what BHT is, we'll get into that in a bit. So that is basically this cereal broken down into a nutshell. Okay, so let's flip the coin here.
It's essentially fake sugars and isolated nutrients that have 0 nutritional value that cause your body to go into shock when it enters because it's saying, foreign invasion, go to war. And then your nasty chemicals like BHT and carcinogens like food coloring.
So you might be thinking, well, shit, I eat cereal every single day.
Or I feed my kids this.
What can I do? Well, what we like to do is we like to consume smoothie bowls or just smoothies. And we'll give you more ideas on how to prepare those. If you go to our website, message us. We also have programs that have all of these amazing foods planned out for you so you don't have to do any of the work. But let's flip the coin here. Okay, we're going to go to a popular vegan burger. And although we eat whole food, plant-based, and we try to stay as healthy as possible, there's marketing towards our market as well. For people that maybe are vegan or vegetarian that don't want to eat meat, well, you have this option. You can eat a vegan burger.
And let's establish here that vegan does not equate healthy.
No. Thank you for mentioning that.
I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying, just because someone's vegan, don't assume that they're healthy. And if you're vegan, don't assume you're healthy. It's important to read your labels if you're buying processed food just like anyone else. Oreos are vegan. That weirds me out because they should have milk in it, but they don't, so that shows how fake it is.
And what chemicals are in that? We don't have all the time in the world to go over all of these products. But this is a popular vegan burger that people are going crazy about right now, and it's just the new thing on the market, and it's, it's the alternative to meat. So great, it must be healthy. All right, so let's explore this a little bit. We have pea protein isolate. Okay, not bad, but it's still an isolate. It's not the best. We have expeller pressed canola oil.
Canola oil literally deteriorates the linings of your insides.
We have refined coconut oil. Ooh, that must be pretty good.
That's what we're told.
What else? We have natural flavors, once again. And we'll get into what natural flavors is in a bit so you actually understand what that means when you see that, because you'll see that on a lot of food.
Vague descriptions of anything should raise a flag because ingredients are ingredients. They should be broken down in a way that you know what they are. If it says natural flavors, you should ask yourself, what in the hell is a natural flavor? Like, that's way too vague. Be suspicious.
We have sunflower oil, a 3rd oil in this burger, okay? And then we have a color extract. So what does this mean? These are basically names, non-descriptive names for possibly food dyes, that red 1, yellow 2, things that we want to avoid, which we'll get into. So that is a vegan burger. So that's supposed to be really healthy. I know you might be saying to yourself, oh, these oils, they can't be that bad for me. Well, that's what we want to get into now.
Oil, oil, oil. This is something we've had to come to terms with over the last year of our journey because we loved cooking with oils. We loved cooking with olive oil, different flavor-infused oils, and we were told, everywhere says, olive oil is good for the heart, coconut oil is good for the brain, and everything else. Well, research is actually showing otherwise, and that it's just as harmful to you as eating butter.
Yeah, so this is the thing. There's excessive saturated fats in all of these oils because they're isolated from their original source. Coconut from coconuts, olives, olive oil from olives, and so on. You're best off just eating the olive, okay?
Or the coconut meat.
Or the coconut meat. They stiffen the walls of our arteries. And the other problem is they promote these omegas, yeah, they have omegas in them, but the ratios are way off to what we should actually be getting. We're going to post two videos. One is Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. The other is Dr. Michael Klaper. And their videos go into more depth of why oils are bad for you, even olive oil.
Even coconut oil.
And even coconut oil.
I know it's hard for us to swallow that pill. I get it. I was the one eating a tablespoon of coconut oil every single day, thinking I was doing my body good. But it's important on a health journey to keep your mind open, be flexible, take in the new research, regardless of if it clashes with your beliefs.
Absolutely. So let's dive into these ingredients that we should be looking out for, okay? Number one.
Can I interrupt one really quickly?
Please.
One more thing. When you're reading labels, the first ingredient is the most. What am I trying to say? The first ingredient on the label is the largest amount of ingredient. The further it goes down the label, the less it is. So when you're getting a sugary cereal for your kid and the first thing says sugar, that literally means that's like the biggest ingredient in your cereal. Usually it's like rice bran, then sugar. That's not okay. That's not good. That's way too much sugar.
And it also means that even though we might see like a red one, a food coloring at the bottom of the list, and you might think, oh, well, then it's at the bottom of the list, it's not bad for me. But the problem is like Sarah said before, the more of these things that we're consuming on a daily basis, it all adds up regardless. And it's still, sure, maybe this trace amount isn't terrible for you at this time, but how many products are you consuming with this in it that equals out to these large quantities? Okay? So number one, aspartame. We all know aspartame. The research is out on aspartame. We know that it's highly documented. It's caused headaches, dizziness, and even Alzheimer's after a long period of time. And actually, I have a story for you. My mom she cares for the elderly. She also cares for people that
are suffering from severe illness where they're no longer able to care for themselves completely.
She has a woman. She's now 50, I believe 54, 56 years old, somewhere like that. She's had Alzheimer's for quite a number of years now. Okay, and so I was curious, man, like that's such an early age to develop Alzheimer's. And
serious Alzheimer's.
She's late in the stage right now. And so, you know, after my mom has been taking care of her for quite some time, she started hearing stories about this woman. What was her diet like? What was she doing? What was she drinking on a daily basis? Well, it wasn't uncommon for this woman to consume about 6 12-ounce cans of soda per day.
Diet soda with aspartame.
So in all diet soda you will see aspartame, and now they're trying to change it around or to get stevia and all that. Well, aspartame, as we know, like I just said, can cause some serious neurological problems. And the other thing is too, these are in aluminum cans. Aluminum is a heavy metal. These heavy metals are very toxic to the system, and aluminum also contributes to neurological issues. So by both combining aspartame and aluminum and consuming this on a daily basis, I mean, it's a death wish, really. It really is, and there's really no other way around it. Next thing, MSG.
Monosodium glutamate.
This is the silent lurking killer, as Dr. Mercola calls it. It's an excitotoxin. So what does an excitotoxin do? It overexcites your cells to the point of damage or death. This is also linked to Lou Gehrig's, to Alzheimer's. It's also linked to ADD and other learning disabilities. So how many of these foods that contain MSG are your kids consuming on a daily basis?
And it's often sneaky under things like natural flavors. What else?
And that's something we're going to get into in a bit. The disguised names that they're using in the market to try and say, oh, this is all healthy and good. All right, BHT. This is the additives that negatively impact our sleep and appetite. Okay, they've been associated with kidney damage, with hair loss, with behavioral problems. And this is something, a preservative, that they actually use in rocket fuel as well.
And Europe has banned BHT. You compare a box of cereal in America and one over in Germany, they're different. They're much more strict over there about making sure that they don't let all of these nasty chemicals into their food and trying to create more clean products. Why are we not waking up to this, but they are?
Absolutely. So the list goes on. We got a few more here, and then we'll go on. High fructose corn syrup. Do I have to say any more?
You guys know the studies about high fructose corn syrup. You know that it's not good for you. Now the tricky part is they know we know it's not good for us. So now they're changing the name, and they can get by very sneakily without legal repercussions, such as calling it fructose on a label.
Yeah, and there's actually more names, which I'm going to get into as well in a bit. So we also have sodium nitrate, which is dizziness, headaches. Sodium benzenate, which is actually linked to leukemia.
Oof.
Yeah. So then we also have food colorings. As I mentioned, the red, the yellows, and the blues. You'll see actually a number after each of those. And again, the list goes on. It's too long to list. There really is. There's so many chemicals out there, but those are the top ones that you'll probably see in a lot of the packaged processed foods. So let's get into this a bit here. This is a popular dressing that we have here that you say, oh, well, maybe these dressings are really good. I can put them on my salad. This one actually promotes that it's low in fat. It's a light dressing for people that are healthy. Okay, but let's read the ingredients here. We have water, sugar. First two ingredients.
Refined sugars. If you've seen our other videos, you know what refined sugars do.
Vegetable oils, which is a combination of soybean and canola oil. It also has extra virgin olive oil. Ooh, not bad. I'm getting my omega-3s, I guess.
And a lot of omega-6s.
It also has fish oil and fish gelatin. Do you know what gelatin is? Those are the remains, the bones of animals. Okay? And what types of fish do we have in here? We have tilapia, bottom-feeding fish. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, they're not disgusting. It's just disgusting to eat them.
Yes, sardine. And we have anchovy. But the list goes on. We have natural and artificial flavor.
Natural and artificial flavor. Both very vague descriptions. And artificial, why do we want artificial flavors?
What else? Oh, and the list goes on. The last two. Red number 40 and blue number 1. Not great. So this is a standard dressing that you may find on your shelves of your supermarket. Let's move on here.
Can I read this one?
You can read this one.
I'm gonna read this one because I grew up on this stuff. And it's not at the fault of my parents. They were doing what their generation was taught to do and what the generation before them taught them to do. Cheap and easy, buying for convenience, saving money, you know, that's the American way.
And this is a standard soup that we're about to read here.
So, of course, the first ingredient is chicken stock, but the second one is modified food starch. Modified food starch. Anything modified sounds a little strange to me. Wheat flour, chicken meat, cream, vegetable oil, chicken fat, salt, whey. But then, of course, we have monosodium glutamate, MSG. That's your excitotoxin. It's going to make you think it tastes good when it doesn't. Mechanically separated chicken.
Mechanically separated chicken. And even if you do eat meat, okay, that's fine. We're not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't eat. But mechanically separated chicken. What in the world does that mean?
It's essentially just any part of the chicken is up for grabs at that point. Soy protein concentrate, spice, which is very vague. It doesn't tell you which spices. Why? Flavoring. Flavoring. What kind of flavoring? Where are you getting the flavoring? What's that coming from? These are the questions you need to ask. Sugar, of course. and just, let's see, then sodium phosphate. I don't know sodium phosphate, do you?
You keep going on here.
But that is just an example of something that many Americans like to live off of on their daily basis.
Yeah. Okay, so what's another thing? We have some ketchup. Some ketchup. And on the front of this ketchup it says no high fructose corn syrup. Okay, so it must be good for me. There's no high fructose corn syrup. They're making it without it. People are getting smart. They don't want it anymore, so there's demand. So, okay, this is good. We'll produce our ketchup with no high fructose corn syrup. Well, what else do we have in this? We have our tomatoes, we have our distilled vinegar, everything that makes these ketchups. But what do we have? The last ingredient, natural flavor, okay? Which is MSG.
Generally, which, how do you even get away with that? I don't understand. And here's a common vegan butter that people love to eat.
It is organic though.
Yes, the label will say no GMOs, no antibiotics, no artificial flavors. But, and that sounds wonderful, you know, and this is how the marketing targets you, pulls you in, because you're like, yes, this is healthy. But then we look at how much oil this is. An oil blend of palm fruit, soybean, canola, and olive oils. Those are your first ingredients, okay? Water, salt, natural flavor, but they put in an asterisk organic ingredients. Tell me what that is. This is shady to me. So this is the thing. These labels are trying to make you feel all cozy. They're trying to make you feel like you're doing something right for your health, when you got to do a little more research. If it's got so much oil in it, are you really supporting your health? If you listen to those videos that we post below, you'll see why not. Also, if you can't pronounce the ingredient or you don't know what they're talking about because they're being too vague, chances are it's not good for you and is some laboratory-made chemical.
Yeah, so again, and this is the other thing too, you see there's palm oil in that. And there's a big problem with palm oil right now. What's happening is they're actually destroying all of these forests to get palm oil. And what are they doing? They're killing off the orangutans. So for you to get your palm oil, you have to sacrifice some orangutans.
Mm-hmm. But this isn't meant to intimidate you. It's meant to enlighten you. If you find yourself in the processed food items aisle, then look on the back of the ingredients. If you know what it is, you can pronounce it, or at least if you can't pronounce it, Google it and see what it is. Those are the best products for you. The shorter the list, the better. And
at the end of the day, we recommend eating whole foods, okay? Your fruit, make sure it's organic. Your vegetables, hopefully it's organic. Anything dried, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, anything like that, fine. But when you start getting into cans and everything like that, it can get a little sketchy, okay? And I just want to read a few more things here. We have some disguised ingredients. What do they hide MSG as? As we said, natural flavor, natural flavoring. This isn't the case all the time, but it is about 95% of the time. Vegetable protein. Yeast extract, soy protein isolate, whey protein isolate, and then you have your E's. E's 620 through 625. So some of the things that, those disguised ingredients as we're talking about. So here's some things that contain MSG, things you have to be careful of. Soy sauce. A lot of soy sauces contain MSG. And when we go out to eat, especially when we go to Asian restaurants, you know, sometimes they advertise no MSG, which is great, but sometimes they're using soy sauces that contain MSG. And again, these are things that we're just making you aware of. These are things that we want you to be aware of. It doesn't mean that we have to be absolutely perfect every time we eat, because in reality, it's not going to happen.
We're not.
You know, we try to be as pure as possible. You know, we are whole food plant-based, but we still do use some canned good items, and some things happen to slip by at times. So again, just do your best is really all we're trying to tell you. So the next thing is high fructose corn syrup. What will you find? What disguised ingredients they hide high fructose corn syrup up?
I mentioned fructose before.
Fructose, okay? If you know what fructose is
a naturally occurring sugar in fruit.
Yeah, which happens to be very, very good for you. But not in this instance.
Yeah, if they're putting fructose, it's because they found the loopholes to be able to still use high fructose corn syrup, but at a certain percentage in the process that allows them to legally just call it fructose and not high fructose syrup. So
yeah, and what other things? Glucose syrup, natural sweetener, and there's many other things too. We're not going to get into them, but those are just a few of the common ones that you'll find. So really, at the end of the day, planet Earth provides everything for us to thrive. These foods that we're talking about, these vegetables, these fruits, they're vibrating. They're full of life. They're full of energy. They are full of everything we need to be vibrant and live our lives to the fullest.
Absolutely. And we are testimonials of that, because this is how we live our life, and we are healing ourselves of years and years and years of damage. And we are thriving, we're happy, we're healthy, we're energetic, this is where we all need to be. And it's only up from here too. We can always get better, we can always improve, we can always reinforce that connection with Mother Nature.
And the reason we're telling you this is because, again, we're not trying to push our value system on you. What we're trying to do is to help you live a more fulfilling life. And it all really does start with what you're putting in your body. And it's so crucial to, obviously, your physical shape, any diseases that you may have or preventing diseases, your mind, the clarity of mind, the energy that you get, and also even a lot of spiritual insights that come from eating foods that are high in energy. So again, do what's best for you. This is just a video, again, to give you, some insight into the food industry and what they're doing that could be possibly poisoning you.
Yep. So now you have the ammunition to lead a healthy lifestyle.
That's it. For any questions, please contact us. You can go to our website at soulandwonder.com. You can find us on Facebook at Soul and Wonder Inc. and on Instagram at Soul and Wonder Inc. And any other questions you may have, you can contact us through the website, or you can comment on the video below, or email us at transform@soulandwonder.com. Until then, we'll check you later.